what's up, y'all? It's Papa and Steve. About to react to this Bed by Hello Yassine. This is the rapper who lost everything for this allegation. I have briefly heard about Lil Mosey being involved in like some legal drama, but I don't know what the specifics are because I don't listen to this man's music, so I didn't really care, to be honest. But sure, we're gonna get the tea and see exactly what happened and how he lost everything. Let's watch.
Lil Mosey was finally found not guilty in a case that has been haunting him for the past 2 years. This now leaves him at a point where he has to scramble and pick up the pieces of a career that was put on ice during that time.
Ooh. What's up there?
Lil Mosey rose to fame as a young teenager, living the life most teenagers can only dream of. He was born in Mountain Lake Terrace, Washington in 2002.
Why you got the worst
and he moved to
verse?
Seattle when he was only 2 years old
Or
and
worse
raised by his mother.
freestyle.
However, despite his strong Seattle roots, he doesn't really have too much of a fondness for the city. In Seattle, the music, I'm really the only one making it out there. But other than that, there's nothing going on in Seattle. He would later retract that statement and say it was taken out of context. He started rapping at a young age, but his older brother gave him an inspiration to start making his own music. His brother stole his iPod for a few days, and when Mosey got it back, his brother added Meek Mill's Dreams and Nightmares to it, which inspired Mosey to start making his own music. When I got into music, I just started watching how people were really living. I started falling in love with that high life, what the lifestyle could be like. It's legal, so I was like, this is a good way for me to live my dreams. So I said, if they could do it, I could do it too. So I just did it. Started getting better. Everything you do, you gotta put 100% into. If you don't put 100% into it, it's not gonna work out like you want it to. I did that every day at home, woke up, went to school late, left school early, and just went home, started working. If I wasn't working, then I wasn't making money. For years he wanted to drop out of school, but his mother wouldn't let him. He even struck a deal with her saying that if his first music video got 30K views in 3 days, he would drop out.
What?
Despite succeeding in that attempt, his mother still wouldn't allow him to skip class. Mosey posted one of his first songs, Off-White, to SoundCloud in 2016, which received 50,000 plays in a short period of time. With So Bad and Off-White accumulating in followers on SoundCloud, and also appearing on his mixtape North's Best, he would give a couple of live performances in the early days, and even sometimes having to pay to take the stage. In November of 2016, he performed at Coast to Coast Live, which was a good experience for him. And then the life-changing success was going to come from the song Pull Up, when he was only 15 years old. The song was picked up by the hip-hop blog Elevator, and quickly racked up millions of views since premiering on December 7th, 2017 through their YouTube channel. The song became a hit, showcasing his unique sound and style, as well as the novelty of how young he looked. He looked far younger than 15. And we covered this and how he got on Elevator and World Star as well on the video called The Dark Side of Lil Mosey. So I won't get into too many details on that. You can watch that. Some people were calling him a mumble rapper, but he just said that's the way he talks. I wouldn't consider myself a mumble rapper because I don't know what that is. But when I talk, I mumble. So it's in my music because that's how I talk. I'm not going for that sound. Soon, Mosey would leave high school in the 10th grade and move to LA to pursue his music dreams with his mom's blessing. She didn't want me to. It took a minute to convince her. I was telling her, trust me, it's going to work out. I started to convince her. Really, I just had to tell her, I know you don't want me to go, but I'ma just go, because I got you. I'ma let you know it's going to work out. I know it's going to work out. And then she let me go, and I just left. Pull Up was included in his full-length album North's Best in 2018.
Let me go, because it's gonna work. And it's gonna work, because I'm gonna go.
And
when I go, it's gonna
so
work.
not too great.
Nigga, shut up.
His first come up, but this was his first actual project being put out. But then, he was going to put out the music video and song for his second hit, Notice, which would peak at number 80 on Billboard's Hot 100. In 2019, he released the single G-Walk with Chris Brown from his upcoming second album, or official first album, Certified Hitmaker. As a follow-up, he released Stuck in a Dream featuring Gunna, which that song overtook Notice, peaking at number 62, now his highest charting song ever. In 2020, though, after being leaked on Spotify throughout 2019 and accumulating tens of millions of streams on several different leaks, Mosey finally released his single Blueberry Faygo. The song was a hit before it even came out, and instantly when it dropped, it took off, gaining traction and becoming popular, eventually tying with Stuck in a Dream at number 62, But later, it would become the song with the highest peak ever for Lil Mosey, peaking at number 8 in the top 10 of the Hot 100, as well as peaking in different international charts and becoming a widespread TikTok hit turned into legitimate hit. In 2020, he also put out a few joint projects, Top Gone with Lune and Back At It with Lil Baby. The latter song former President Barack Obama put on his 2020 summer playlist. Yeah, I'm just a little ass kid and a grown ass president know about me. That's crazy. 2020 was a relatively busy year for Mosey despite the pandemic. He was one of the few rappers who was doing well since his music had blown up while it was going on. Otherwise, it might have been lights out if he was unable to do any shows, because his career was a little bit dead, to say the least. Unfortunately, though, it was a double-edged sword because he wasn't able to capitalize on it in the same way if things weren't locked down. He was working on a new mixtape called Universal. That mixtape was supposed to serve as a bridge between Certified Hitmaker and his third project, The Land of Make-Believe. In October 1st, 2020, Mosey released a YouTube video on his channel celebrating the world premiere of FIFA 21 while performing a bunch of his songs. He also had a deal to make a song for the SpongeBob movie. And he also collaborated with Internet Money on the song Jet Ski, which was supposed to serve and take off as a hit. It was a great song featuring Lil Tecca. But unfortunately, it wasn't able to be promoted in the way that it should have. It was going to be his biggest hit since Blueberry Faygo. It already was, looking at the numbers. But Mosey looked promising at this point. He had a quick rise to fame, fell off, and then having the biggest hit of his life, the newest highest peak of his career. But soon it was all going to go downhill. Because on April 2nd, 2021, Mosey was charged with one count of second-degree SA in Lewis County, Washington. He was charged for engaging with an individual that was incapable of giving consent. He pled not guilty. The charge arose from an alleged incident that happened at a cabin in Randall, Washington, where he had hosted a party on the night of January 5th, 2020. He was still a minor at the time. A girl claimed that she and a friend went to a cabin to see Mosey, but ended up being SA'd by him and another man. He wasn't an adult at the time, and he was facing the maximum sentence, which was life in prison. In the affidavit that was obtained by TMZ, one of the alleged victims claimed that she agreed to engage in this activity with Mosey in a car, but she says that after drinking White Claws and champagne, she passed out in the cabin afterwards. She claimed that shortly after, while he was with her, Mosey pushed up and climbed on her, and then she recalled experiencing leg muscle pain as Mosey was pushing her. She stated that after a second blackout, she awoke to another man, which was Lil Mosey's friend, forcing himself on her. The woman claims that she was hurt, including having bruises on her inner knee, neck, and arm, and she further asserted that she received a message from a partygoer stating that the guys were discussing, quote, training two girls. In 2021, a $50,000 arrest warrant was issued for Mosey because he had failed to show up for a scheduled preliminary appearance in court the week before. His defense attorney, Jennifer Atwood, said that the court summons were sent to an address where Mosey hadn't lived at in 5 years, and he didn't know until after he'd missed the court date. The trial was delayed several times, but it started on February 22nd, 2023, nearly 2 years after. During this entire time, 2 years, he wasn't able to work with any other rappers or artists, sparingly released any music in 2022, took nearly a year off. 2021, after this allegation, he really didn't put anything out, and the only thing that people thought of when his name was even mentioned was this case. Many people distanced themselves, and on March 3rd, 2023, the jury cleared him of all charges. After the verdict, he shared his relief with his followers on Instagram. Following these allegations against Mosey in 2021, he took a 3-month break from music before making a comeback with How I Been and Problem Solving. He's released a few singles in the last 2 years, including Falling, Pass Out, and Not the Same God as Mine. None of the new songs, though, managed to stick with a wider audience, which is potentially understandable. He is on a massive record label, Interscope, and they probably wanted to wait until he was cleared of these charges or see what happened with them before putting a lot of money into promotion. Lil Mosey experienced incredible success in an industry that's constantly changing, and the ability to remain relevant is crucial to long-term success. So when you disappear for 2 years, you can have the effect that it had on Rich Homie Quan, which he's still yet to be able to recover from. But despite his initial success, his sound, image, mainly legal issues, and brand have struggled in the past couple of years. Fortunately for Lil Mosey, Trippie Redd was the first person, and he's got to be given a lot of credit for this, to embrace him and show him love publicly after this case, bringing him out during his set at Rolling Loud, which presented a new problem that I hadn't even considered before. Lil Mosey's voice sounds completely different. The majority of the music we've heard, his voice was higher pitched. He was a young teen, and it went well with the melodies. Even Blueberry Faygo was clearly recorded years before it released. But now, with his voice much, much deeper, I wonder how that will affect the music he tries to put out in the future. But if there's one thing that we all owe him, it's a genuine listen and opportunity to win us over again with the new music or project he's working on now.
Damn, that sucks. Especially if he was falsely accused, because he said in that Instagram post that the truth finally came out. So if, those girls did lie on him, that does suck that he had to waste, years fighting this case and putting his career on the back burner. And now he's trying to get back into it, but it's like, will he recover? And like he said, his voice sounds totally different. Like, the people who were listening to him, back then, they have grown up a bit, so they're probably, not into that sound anymore. They might be on to other shit, like 2 years is a long time to take a break. So, yeah, it just sucks, if his career has officially, been damaged due to that. But, yeah, hopefully he figures it out. He's not my type of artist at all, but I wish him good luck. Y'all let me know what y'all think, though. Let me know what other videos you want to watch, and I'll see y'all on the next one. Bye!